All right. At this time, we're going to ask Greg Stewart to come forward. Greg is one of our newest directors of MASB. In addition to that, he's actually a co-host of a AI panel, which is remarkably apropos for this discussion. So we are going to just hand the reins off to Greg, and Greg will let you run accordingly.
Sounds good, Frank. Appreciate it. And welcome to my panelists who are able to join us. I think what Frank meant to say is I run a podcast on AI. So hopefully I pay a little more attention to this stuff than others. Can you see my sort of beautiful background? I figured out I should have my logo in the background. So I printed that very quickly and just, because everybody else had their logo, so I felt left out. I don't know. Okay, well, here, let's jump in. Listen, I'll introduce the panelists and then I've got sort of an initial question for everybody. So, again, as Frank mentioned, I am the CEO of MMA, on the actually Marketing Media Alliance. We focus on trying to help CMOs and marketers advance the value that marketing has. Basically, we take on the really hard problems that are really challenging to solve and really bring a sense of solution and truth and facts to them. So, and if you look at the boards of MMA, aligns to some of the great people I have here. So also joining me today is Jay Altschuler from Mastercard. He's the SVP of Global Media there. Dave Kersey, who's VP Global Media Head of Shark Ninja, and Rebecca Panico, who is the VP of Global Media Engagement Partnerships at Hilton. And they all sit on the Media and Data Board, and they, I don't know, insufferably agreed to sort of help me out with this. So, hey, gang, listen, welcome everybody. How you doing today? Good?
Good. Happy to be
Good,
here.
good.
Good,
Yeah, thanks
good,
for
good.
having
No,
us.
we appreciate you. Appreciate shedding light on this topic. And listen, we always have good discussions anyway, so this will be fun. Okay, so listen, the first one. So when you hear the topic here, just to make sure everybody knows AI and marketing, what's actually working, what's not, and maybe why, if we can get into that. But when you guys hear AI in marketing, I have to assume that means something different to every company. Like it's kind of an ill-defined term. In fact, it's sort of like electricity. It's seeping into everything that we do, but we still need to give some definition. So for you at the moment, at this time in place, can you kind of talk a little bit about what AI and marketing means to your organization and what you guys are trying to do? Or we'll get into success later, but what are you trying to do? Where do you think it applies? I don't know. Who wants to start? Jay, maybe I don't know. You go first. I don't know.
Yeah, what AI means to Mastercard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What does it mean in terms of marketing, though, specifically? I mean, I'm sure I mean, if you want to touch
Yeah.
on payments, that'd be fine too. That'd be interesting for people. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I've been around long enough to kind of see this story. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of when, people talked about digital or digital transformation. It can kind of mean almost anything. I think, really we are thinking about it through a few dimensions. One, just knowing that in the future, in the near future, we need to think about how we connect with consumers or our customers in the same way that we always did, but also through the lens of agentic, understanding how we structure our data to ensure that we are marketing to agents as well. And how do we become discoverable in this new paradigm? And so that is sort of, kind of like a meta overarching sort of framework for us in thinking about, kind of our go-to-market. And, as we orchestrate sort of pay, don't, and earn, what that means in terms of the, how we structure our data, the type of content that we need to create, the cadence of that content. That's sort of kind of one dimension. I think the other aspect, maybe, from an internal workflow standpoint, is really thinking about sort of our human workforce and our synthetic workforce and how we start to become more efficient, and produce, maybe at a higher velocity, to ensure that we are meeting the needs of the business. I think our friend Shelley Palmer had this wonderful quote that I keep top of mind, that, we have never worked faster as an industry, but we're never going to work this slow again. So we only know that this is kind of going, kind of up and to the right, just in terms of the amount that's coming at us at a daily basis. So, you know, I'll just give sort of an example, kind of our priceless campaign is like 27 years young. And, we are very particular and precious about the brand identity. And we have a small team that is essentially, I would say sort of in the governance sort of role of ensuring that, kind of the campaigns that happen in 110 plus markets, multiple agencies, kind of have that consistent look and feel. And that was really, kind of three people that had to kind of govern, hundreds of campaigns that are launching every day around the world. With the help of, kind of some of these tools that we've built and sort of agentic systems, it allows us to now kind of scale that in a much larger way. I'll just stop there. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay, okay. I don't know, Dave, you want to go next? Hey, Dave, take a moment too and just tell people. I don't know if everybody knows how big Shark Ninja is. Can you, you just take a moment, make sure they're clear on that?
Yeah, Shark Ninja, two powerhouse brands, over $7 billion in global sales. So a
Right.
massive company. We're in over 38 product categories. Many of those product categories we created ourselves. And really the goal is not, it's not a pitch for Shark Ninja, but the goal is to create solutions for consumers, really to shortcut a lot of daily behaviors, whether it's in your house, your bathroom, personal care. So massive organization, innovations at the heart of what we do, product innovation, bringing new solutions forward to people.
Yeah.
And AI,
Bigger than most people would realize. That would be my take. Yeah.
it, yes, and I hear that quite often from peers. AI for us, it plays a lot of different roles. I think marketing transformation, first and foremost, and understanding how we can move at speed, move at scale, and reduce some of the hurdles or roadblocks that we face from daily operating models. I mean, ultimately, with innovation pipeline that we have, launching 20 to 25 new products a year, net new products a year, we move fast. Our organization needs to move at speed in order to capitalize on the momentum. And so finding opportunities for us to streamline our ops model is certainly a factor we're considering and starting to I would say test and learn in that regard. But what's really important and a key area for myself is looking at consumer behavior and how people are searching for information and using AI engines for information, resources, and even connecting into storefronts, not only for product education, but almost becoming a conversion engine. And that's really top of mind for our marketing group is to understand how do we make sure we are um, part of that consumer journey at the forefront as they're exploring, looking at products, understanding the benefits of our products specifically, but then even getting them into our ecosystem, whether it's a D2C or another retail storefront, ensuring that the consumer journey is mapped back to their behaviors and their needs. So it is a through line. I think those are the two big areas we're really starting to move fast on. I think from an infrastructure place, um, certainly it's top of mind, but related to marketing, those are those two key areas.
Hey, Dave, any chance we're going to see AI show up in any of the Shark Ninja products at any point? I don't know. Anything you wanted to share with us today? We can look
Not at
forward to.
liberty
Okay,
to
okay,
share.
okay. I knew. I should have found a
Heard
more
it
sneaky way.
here.
Yeah,
It was a good
Rebecca, you
try.
knew it
It
wasn't
was a
going to
good
go for
try.
that, right? He's too smart. Hey, Rebecca, let's talk about Hilton. I mean, Hilton's it's a funny kind of dynamic hospitality because you advertise for a very long time and then somebody decides to go stay somewhere. It's not like you run an ad and say, "Oh my God, I really got to make a trip to Oklahoma right now because of that ad." Like it's complicated. So yeah, what's Hilton doing?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I think first and foremost, to pull back on Hilton, you're right. Hospitality is complicated. It's also a highly experiential based business, right? We're powered by human experiences, and the stay is at the center of that for Hilton. So, Hilton, global organization, 26 trading brands. So, not just the Hilton hotels and resorts, but we have 26 other brands within our portfolio that you are hopefully staying at on your trips, both business and personal. And thank you, Greg. And also our Hilton Honors program, which is one of the leading loyalty programs within the hospitality space. And so it is a complicated business. And as I think about maintaining that human connection, AI actually plays a really important role in our marketing strategy. I think a lot of similar themes that you heard from Jay and Dave. I could sum it up into two areas right now, and I think we're continuing to dig into the discoverability and e-commerce aspect of it because you also have to remember that while the signal in that we advertised for a stay occasion, there's multiple places in which you can book that stay, right? Ideally, you would come to Hilton.com and come to us and book that stay. But there are also all of the other avenues and distribution channels and commerce in the AI space with the agentic models is really something that we're paying a lot of attention to, as all of the hospitality brands are. But I think two ways I would think about AI and marketing for us today is first, it's automation. You heard this already from both Jay and Dave. We need to basically find a way to use automation with AI to get the repetitive stuff out of the way, right? Get that moving, get the agents doing that job for the teams to free them up to be thinking more strategically. And then it's augmentation. So augmenting the humans, the people behind, the marketers behind the work to give them the tools and options that help them make better decisions. So running experiments faster, getting to market in a more quick and in a high fidelity manner, being more clear in our measurement, and producing a lot more creative. So when you have 26 brands with 26 different identities, we are churning creative out to be on brand to all of those identities. And so utilizing these tools from an AI perspective to help us do that in a more efficient manner.
Got it. Okay, so let's get to kind of the core question I think everybody would probably have. What insight or knowledge can you apply to helping them understand where you think is the biggest opportunity? So you mentioned efficiency, and so maybe we just hold that one for a moment, right? And we talk a lot about this at the board meetings, is it around sort of media buying? Is it around segmentation strategies? Is it around optimization? Is it around either creative testing or using AI to produce creative, which, media entities within companies are doing far more than I think people realize. Is it around personalization? Like if you were trying to, I don't know, it might be a little hard, but stack rank the top 3 things that you think the biggest opportunity looks like. And then if you can back those up with some, conjecture is fine, but if you want to back it up with even an illustration, fine. Who wants to go? Who can talk to that first?
I'll go first.
Go, Dave.
I would say the 3 key areas: media investment, media optimization, and probably creative content insights, which really ladders back to optimization. How we operate is very much as a united front, media and social. We are a social viral first company. That is our DNA. That's the measures of our success in many ways. And so having really clear insight as soon as possible from both media performance and content performance is how we optimize. So we're not doing it in vacuums. Our teams sit in similar areas so we can make sure we're doing this in real time. Media investment, I mean, all of the major platforms have their own automated tools, whether it's PMax, Performance Plus. There's a lot of value in this. It's taking a more objective view on performance best gets to drive your business performance versus it being an internal work stream of deciding optimization strategies. I would say the watch out there is these products are built to convert those who are most likely to purchase. So sometimes that's.
No, we lost him.
Oh, Dave?
That,
Dave, we lost you there for a second.
I thought
You said you were talking about that they're optimizing. I think you were going to say they're not optimizing the right way, just so you know where we lost you. So you were just trying
okay.
to.
That was it.
Go one more, because that point is actually a pretty big deal. Yeah.
The watch out is they're optimizing to the best opportunity based on all of their factors, right? Based on the algorithms, which could be interjecting an organic path to purchase. And so capitalizing and taking credit for some of those go-gets. I think in paper, in numbers, you could show your media investment performing, but in reality, consumers were likely going to already convert. So how do you really look at these products to get net new or new to brand type opportunities into your ecosystem? So fundamentally, I think these products are built to help streamline and drive business impact. There are just some watch-outs that we have to be, as media professionals, be clear about what the cost benefit is and how you can build kind of a customized algorithm with these platforms to ensure you're reaching net new customers or getting someone who's considering competitor brands to go into your ecosystem. But
Yeah.
media investment, certainly it's a huge opportunity. It takes a lot of the manual labor, to what Rebecca was saying, out of the day-to-day. You can optimize faster. You can turn business results around faster. Um, the optimization piece, it's bigger than just a single platform. It's looking at it as an aggregate across full funnel and being able to leverage these technologies to give us, again, objective insight into what's performing, what's driving your business, whatever the KPI is. Those are really beneficial for us to streamline how we operate, take some of the human need out of a lot of that. And then on
Yeah.
the content side, for us, we're producing content daily. We have content creators in every local market across brands, and we're putting new creative in, multiple new content pieces a day across brands, across products, to see what's resonating so we can move as fast as possible. Getting an initial read on creative or content performance is critical for our business model. We can't wait a week for a typical system to tell us high engagement, above benchmark. It is real time. We're making decisions in 24 to 48 hours if we pull content out or amplify content because we were seeing the spark, and we want to like maximize that groundswell.
Hey, Dave, you guys doing any automated content creation? In other words, barely anybody looks at it. It just does not yet, right?
No,
Yeah. Okay.
no, our products are our brands. We're a product marketing company,
Yeah.
and every one of our products is really like a branded portfolio. Like to Rebecca, she has a number of different, hotel monikers. For
Yeah.
us, it's the brand. So we have a lot of
Yeah.
pride in making sure we do that
And I love
ourselves.
your point there too, that AI doesn't take away having a solid strategy and in particular orient. I mean, the words you didn't say it, but the words were what you were saying was incrementality. Like you've got to figure out how this is
Yes,
incrementality because they're not doing that. Okay.
that's
Uh,
right.
Jay, Rebecca, I don't know. Where are you guys finding success? I don't know we've all talked about this, but I don't know if I've talked to each of you about that. What's success? Where are you seeing stuff? Where do you think opportunity is?
Rebecca, you feel free.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, I think Dave hit on a lot of the things that were also, so I don't want to be repetitive there. I think where I might be additive, it goes back to Greg, your first point that, when you think about the travel customer journey and booking a hospitality stay or a hotel stay, it's not an immediate, I see an ad, I'm going to book a stay. So we rely heavily on intent cues in our marketing efforts to really capture the demand that's coming in at that moment. And we're using AI in terms of media optimization to be able to get more effective in identifying the cue quickly and serving up the right ad at that moment based on a series of intents that it cues that customer, potential customer is identified. Are they an honors member? That might be a different ad that I might serve up in an automated way. Are they, searching, for San Antonio versus Hawaii? So those are all the things that we would do to ensure that we have the right creative funneling into the market to serve up in that moment. But I think in addition to that, as consumer behavior shifts towards utilizing large language models for travel itinerary planning, travel planning overall. I mean, I know I have leaned on my agent to do this work for me, and I work for a travel company, right? So, but the training of that is incredibly important. So I've had to train my agent to tell them I am an honors member. I, prefer these types of brands, these types of stays. So that's incredibly important too for us as brands to help people in these as they start to use these new tools to help their daily lives, making sure our brand is inserted in the right way with the right price point and so that we feel very native in those spaces. So that's a lot of work that we're doing, learning through just measurement tools to understand how are people behaving in large language models with travel journey behaviors, what types of things are they searching for, and how can we as a brand ensure that all of our information is showing up accurately and in the right moment so that we can intercept in a native way in that travel journey behavior within these agents.
Geez, Rebecca, it wasn't like it wasn't hard enough when all the booking agents came into your business, right? It inserted themselves between you and sometimes direct relation to customer. But you're
Yeah.
right. Now you've got the whole AEO, GEO, whatever words we're using for that. And
Yeah.
you're totally right. I planned a trip. It was a business trip, but I planned a personal business trip to India last year. Did the whole thing in AI. It was astonishing.
It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing and
That's
incredible what
awesome.
it can do. And, it takes a little bit of time, but you get there and it starts to know you really well. So that's really, I think, a big game changer in how people will think about making travel purchase decisions. And so that's definitely something we're deeply thinking about in this space
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Hey Jay, your marketing is a little bit different because you guys really have doubled down, bet heavily on priceless and sort of a lot of big sponsorships and that kind of thing. Not the sometimes DSP kind of programmatic kind of thing. So I don't know, where do you think Mastercard has found, where have you found real wins on this that you would, help people understand where they might want to look too? It might be a similar situation.
Yeah, this is always part of the challenge of going third. Because I really
Sorry.
appreciated the answers of Dave and Rebecca, which were amazing. And so where can I also be additive? I would say that one, just to kind of at a high level, like an industry sort of pain point that I think this is starting to solve is one around transparency. Um, I feel like, and you kind of mentioned programmatic, even though we're not kind of a huge programmatic buyer. We certainly buy programmatically. We work with our agency. I think like moving to sort of like the ad context protocol, it's going to eliminate a lot of middlemen in that process. I think, I do see kind of the world, heading more programmatic in terms of just this automation approach, right? And, kind of everything being kind of bought in a digital format. So having kind of the full transparency of what we're buying, who's getting paid along the way, what we're actually getting for that, and maybe even being able to do it a little bit more direct as a company rather than relying on an agency. Having
Yeah.
I think the technology to stand up our own SSP or DSPs will make all of this much more transparent and efficient. I think kind of the second part of that,
Hey,
also,
hey Jay,
yeah.
can I ask you, I don't know if I've heard anybody say that before. How does AI support transparency in what you're trying to do there, and maybe as it works for you guys? And then
Yeah, and
I'd love to hear more about how you're replacing something, but go ahead or
yeah,
something.
well, we talked about this at one of our previous board meetings, kind of the ad context protocol, I think is
Oh, okay.
is a different protocol that, not only is it starting to, kind of allow the SSPs to work with, kind of all the different large language models. But we're going to have kind of transparency along the way. It's going to be very clear, kind of who's involved, in terms of all that tech tax. And I think actually streamline it and take a lot of that tech tax out of buying programmatically, right? So we get excited about, kind of these new protocols that, allow us to, I think, kind of just streamline. I mean, I think the latest stat that we saw from ANA was on average something like 47% or 47 cents of every dollar is going to tech tax, which is awful, right? I mean, you can't win in that way, right? So, I think this should streamline the process and ensure that publishers are getting the majority of that dollar rather than, kind of the system and the pipe.
Yeah.
Um, right? Kind of building on that, I also get more excited about, kind of the tools and the closed loop attribution tools that we can develop. And I think Dave and Rebecca both talked about this in sort of, kind of different flavors. And that, as we start to kind of set up our learning models and learning frameworks, and we get kind of real-time automated dashboards, and we're understanding kind of what's working and why. We will start to in real time, kind of really understand. I think in a much broader way. Almost like real time, kind of media or market mix modeling, where not only will we start to get a sense of, kind of the media and creative placements and why it's working and, kind of optimize based on leading indicators, or in some cases we may have the ability to do it based on, kind of the actual purchase. As Rebecca was saying, like our business, if we're selling cybersecurity, that could be a 2.5 year cycle, right? So we're not going to optimize based on the sale, but there's a lot of leading indicators along the way. But what we'd like to be able to get to is a system that also, helps us understand, macroeconomic headwinds and tailwinds and kind of current news and, and buying signals, kind of just based on larger macroeconomic trends. where we are really thinking about, kind of just real-time marketing. If for some reason, I'm just using this totally hypothetically, but if we are hearing, that kind of one of our competitors, has an issue and they are pulling back on advertising, that should be a signal for us that, this is a buying opportunity, right? And we don't necessarily operate in those sort of real-time dynamics and having, kind of a unified dashboard between a CMO and a CFO.
And why don't you, Jay? Just because you just don't have the tools, you don't have the what you hope will come out of AI to be able to do that? Is that kind of the
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. I think it's kind of
Connecting the dots.
moving,
Yeah.
yeah, moving kind of sophisticated,
Yeah.
kind of advanced analytics that tend to be backwards looking into
Yeah.
advanced forward looking.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to know too, like what is the, listen, I think that's an interesting idea you just suggested, but what is the real value of that? I mean, this is what the MMA tries to do. We try to take those concepts and say, well, can we value that? Should you guys go, oh, I should double down on that because I think it's more valuable than either I guesstimated or it's less valuable than I thought, so I shouldn't. Hey, what are you doing? Let's talk. Let's not talk. We don't have to talk about who's not doing this right. Maybe we'll leave them off the table. But I'm just curious, who are some of the partners that you're finding value that you think are helpful to you? I can't imagine that the audience wouldn't find that incredibly valuable. I don't know. Who's at the tops of some of your list of, I mean, you mentioned PMax earlier, Dave, which is Google's product, right? Google, right? Yeah, yeah. And all the walled gardens. I mean, Facebook completely turned around its business based on
Yeah.
applying AI in a powerful way when Apple did their little thingy dance, whatever it was, privacy. I don't know. Who do you guys like? Anything interesting out there you see out there you want to mention to people?
I mean, the big platforms are definitely on
Yeah.
the front foot on this. Amazon as well. I feel
Yeah.
like Amazon is kind of eating the television world right now. Thinking about how they really do full funnel.
Oh, Amazon in video, you say is really coming on strong. Okay. And is there an
Correct.
AI part of their solution? Do you know? Do you know what they're doing?
There
Yeah.
there is, both on a creative side and a media side, they're talking about kind of optimizing
Mhm.
kind of across their portfolio from top of the funnel down to bottom of the funnel.
Yeah.
It helps, when you can give them some of your data and you're actually selling on the platform, right? Dave can probably talk much more and tell
Yeah.
about that than I can, because we don't sell a lot of products through Amazon right now. But I am hopeful in starting to have some very interesting conversations on the streaming side as well. Because I think,
Oh.
they are starting to, kind of understand a little bit of what Amazon's doing on a video standpoint. Um,
So you probably just the way you answered that, or the position that you didn't want to say who, but what's the thing that who they are they doing? Just what catches your attention there?
um, when we talk about sort of the closed loop attribution aspect of this, being able to leverage some of this technology, if you can start to kind of create a model with them, on who you're talking to, ultimately what you're optimizing against, kind of across their portfolio of programming, start to put in better contextual placement,
Okay.
and then being able to measure based on whatever your outcome is.
Okay. Hey, Rebecca, Dave, Jay's being really polite and not mentioning real names. Can you guys go one step further on that? I don't know. He's in a tough business. Mastercard's a complicated business, touches everybody. There's not none of us that don't get involved. Name names. Come on, somebody. Give me who you like. Maybe you
I'll
had a
tell
good
you,
experience with,
Okay,
I don't know.
ju-
perfect.
we're on the journey right now, and we're testing quite a few AI
Oh,
partners. Really managed through our media agencies, which are at the front lines of this.
yeah,
Um, I do think the big platforms where I think the volume of dollars is,
yeah,
I mean, we have to be in it. We have to understand those platforms
yeah.
and the automation engines, because it's going to drive our business. It is a good one because we do sell on Amazon and it's a huge storefront for us globally. So connecting the dots through AMC audiences across the entire ecosystem from Prime Video all the way down to conversion, hugely beneficial. We're testing some other ones. Um, there's no core partners that we have contracts with, but we're testing partners like Skybids, to really lean into the bidding architecture to make sure that I can't remember if it was Rebecca or Jay. If we see a competitor changing their investment strategy, how do we move at speed to capitalize on the opportunity to earn the
Mm.
share, and be at the right moment within in those consumer segments that are interested in a product within a specific category that we're trying to earn share.
Mhm.
Um, Smartly is another one we're looking at in
Mhm.
terms of creative performance. Like I said, we move at speed and we need quicker insights into what's working.
Mhm.
So we're looking at them as are they could they be a contributor to give us quicker insights for us to automate and ultimately create content on a fly based on some key insights. So there's a few. I won't name others because we are in some contract discussions with a
Fair
few,
enough.
but hopefully that's helpful for you.
Yeah, listen, Laura Desmond's doing a good job with Smartly and kind of transforming what that product was 5 years ago when the last time I kind of really looked at it. I agree with you. Rebecca, anything you want to add to that conversation? And by the way, hey, David, was Sky Bids was the one you mentioned? Was that the guy? Okay, not heard that. Okay.
Yeah, I similarly, I think we're looking at testing quite a number of different partners. I think the big walled gardens, Google specifically, has a significant vested interest in bringing forward solutions, given the amount of investment that I'm sure my cohorts here on the screen also have within the Google platform, like we do, along with others. So I think that they're certainly bringing products forward that we've been testing into, but there's a number of others that we're testing into as well to help us get more automated. And at the end of the day, I think what I'm hoping to find are partners that can create more frictionless opportunities to connect our data ecosystems together so that we can be much more automated. We sit on quite a lot of data. Our customers and honors members are quite important to us. And I think that's where I'm really been focusing on what partners and platforms enable us to have a more free-flowing opportunity, obviously through governance and compliance and all the things that we have to do, but that enable us to have that feedback loop in place. And I think the big guys are going to have to figure out how to be nimble in this space right now. And the more, up and coming partners that, if you have been named on this call, are nipping at their heels. And I think it's really going to be an interesting opportunity for us to see how this all shakes out, frankly.
Yeah,
I'm the
Rebecca.
only one that named people.
I know,
Yeah,
sorry.
I know, I know, Dave. Hey, Dave, you saw I
Sorry,
tried. Dave, I tried. I tried. You saw I
You
tried.
did.
Yeah, I
I
did. I
took the
know.
bait this
I
time.
know. I know. I know. No, no, no. Listen, I think all that's really helpful, and I've got another question for you. I'll let you name names here in a minute. So, but it's coming up. But let's talk about sort of, this is the conversation I hear from the North America and global boards of CMOs, right? It's like, you've got this pressure from the top to change, and I'll even position the question sort of, best, which somebody told me I thought was really good. It's not like AEO replaces SEO. I have to do both. And yet the CFO, let's just name it, the CFO is saying, get rid of people. There's some of that going on in this. Okay. So you've got that kind of dynamic within, and then you've got sort of people at different levels. Like I know I happen to love change, but not everybody in a company does. So then you've got the challenges getting your team to sort of adopt and move forward on this one. They've got either got their KPIs for the year or they've got, I don't struggles with just their own personal lives. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that comes in that makes this really hard to get to. What's the question? Besides, it sucks. I don't know. Like you're kind of caught in a squeeze play. So maybe what do you think are your demands? What are the demands we put on you to create change at this stage in time? And maybe how is that different even a year ago? I don't know. Maybe go and then if you want to touch on challenge, I don't want to make it too big a question. We're not going to have that much time, but I don't know. What do you think? Operationally, this is hard, right? I mean, I don't know what the answer is.
Uh,
Well, I know what the MMA's answer is, but I don't know, what do you guys think?
it's change is always hard.
Yeah.
Transformational change within marketing orgs. I would say I don't want to
Biggest
speak for.
transformation change we've ever seen, Dave, in our careers? Our X factor, way beyond, right?
I think
Huh?
so because it impacts everyone versus
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
programmatic became a thing, it was actually isolated quite a bit to certain
Mm.
areas, even though it impacted the business. AI is impacting every asset of business, whether it's product development, consumer insights, marketing, strategy and activation. I think it's good though. The way I look at it is if I have a set list of resources on my team to help drive our business forward, how best to deploy these people? Where do I want them focused? And it's really on the strategy and breaking into new grounds, new markets, new audiences, if there's automation that can be had at a more effective rate from hands on keyboards or bidding or optimizing, why wouldn't we? So we can put the brains at the challenges of how do we do more and create really a brand ecosystem that we can own and dominate. And that's how I'm looking at it. So it's a transformation of not only how you operate in the operating model, but also how you get people to think and where they should spend their time. Because to me, it should be at the forefront. Let's
Hey,
set the landscape.
Yeah, totally.
Dave, you make it sound maybe you're an innovation company. It makes it easy for you to adopt change. You're not seem to struggle with what I hear from everybody else. Rebecca, you were going to step in there. What do you think?
No, I think Dave hit it on the head. Like, I think we're asking people to start behaving differently and learning
Yeah.
differently. And I think, there's the statement that I keep hearing is machines are going to replace people. That's not true. I think that machines are going to help people operate differently. And those in marketing organizations that will win in this transformation are the ones who learn how to work side by side with machines. And I think it's a flex that we need as leaders. I'd say it's a leadership issue to train our people to think differently and operate also with speed that we've never, we talked about this
Yeah.
earlier, that we've never operated in. And I think that's the transformation in a lot of ways that we need to continue to lead our teams through, to make it less scary, if you will, because at the end of the day, I think AI is the biggest transformation that we've seen in our careers. And I think it's an exciting one because I think it's going to catapult us into a future that makes marketing really, really important to driving the
Yeah.
results of the organization commercially.
If I can just add one more thing, sorry, Jay. If it almost creates a streamlined view of how you go to market and how you optimize, because before when programmatic had the rise, it was what are our KPIs? We have primary, secondary,
Yeah.
tertiary.
Yeah.
Everyone had different goals, whereas machines are telling us now where is the best business impact, and it almost streamlines what factors we should focus on. Obviously, everyone has different KPIs, and you're going to look at multiple factors, but it simplifies the debilitating view of too much data, right? Data paralysis, in a way that is business driving versus subjective.
If it's telling us the truth, Dave, and I don't know that it is. I'm
That's
not
true.
here to
That's
diss on
true.
AI, but the number of examples that I have where it has just given me unbelievably bad information because I happen to know facts and science around marketing. It's just, I'm like, oh my God, it's just repeating stupid.
This is
I'll
like
ask ChatGPT if
because
they're honest.
your gut still matters, right?
Yes.
Your
Intuition still
gut
matters.
still matters.
Judgment matters, Rebecca. I totally agree. I do think that that's the answer. You still have to have a sense, and the good news is that comes with sort of hard-won experience and dynamics around it. And Rebecca, just to your point, I'll just tell you what we've done at the MMA. I'm not sure this is the right thing to do. We'll ask my team, and it'll show up at Glassdoor. I've told the team, listen, AI is not going to replace you, but I will if you don't learn it.
I love that sentiment, actually.
Right. It is what it is, people. I mean, it's the same expectation I have that you must know PowerPoint, Excel, and Word. I wouldn't expect anything, or Google Docs. I wouldn't expect any different. You must take this on. So I'm not here to threaten you, but you have to recognize the environment that we're operating in today.
That's it. Play around with it as a person in your regular life and at work. I think it's just you got to get in it.
Hey, Jay, let me go to Rebecca's question there. What's the best? So listen, as far as I can tell, there appears to be a new AI company I'm discovering every weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's crazy now. It just lit up in the last 2-3 months. Okay. What's the best AI-driven tools that you're using that you like in sort of executing what you do? And by the way, I asked this question at the Global Board Exec Committee, really funny, and it was funny how they all leaned into it and what they were doing. What do you think? What's the best tool? Best couple of tools you like?
We are all in on Profound for GEO.
Okay, but that's for GEO. So I got that, but and that's fine. I was asking more personally what you're doing in your own work style. Kind of to Rebecca's question. What do you think, Jay?
For me, I'm all in on Gemini. I've just been in the Google ecosystem for a long, long time, and it's the one that kind of fully integrates my work and personal life. Funny enough, we have to kind of just figure out like how to. I don't know if other people have this issue with kind of the firewalls and like what we can actually input into these tools on a professional basis. So like this,
you have a lot of challenges there, especially and thank you, especially in a payments company. Would you stay true to that, Rebecca? I know, Dave. What do you got? What do you think?
ChatGPT for me and Claude personally.
Okay. Dave, anything
Uh,
else you had beyond the LLMs?
no, I mean the Underdog Copilot. It's integrated in all of our systems, and I use it
Okay.
personally. I was an early adopter, and now that it's integrated in our systems here at work, it actually knows
Okay.
me in multiple facets of my life, both personally and
Yeah.
professionally, which is a bit scary, but also very, very helpful.
You know what, Nicola,
Prompt
I'll
the
name names.
Copilot. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for me
Yeah,
either.
we'll not have that debate, Rebecca. I hear you. It wasn't going to go. Hey, gang, you know what? So I was on the call, GBC. You know what Nicola Mendelson mentioned first, and I'm all over this? Whisper Flow. Have you seen it yet?
No.
No.
Unbelievable. The most dramatic tool I've seen in my entire career. Nothing has transformed my behavior and how I do my work than this. And it's WISPR flow. I'm also becoming a very big fan of what's it, granola,
Oh
which
yeah.
is phenomenal for meeting notes. Phenomenal. It just changes everything. Yeah, it just transformed my world. I don't know, there's a lot of that. That's what I mean, Dave. Like there's you kind of react to that. Like there's all these tools that are coming for me just to better operate. Although Jay, you've got issues. Like I don't know, anybody run an OpenClaw at home? No, nobody bought a
I'm
Mac Mini.
I'm trying actually. I'm playing
Okay,
around,
my
but I'm
my
also
son
worried
my
about the
My
the
son
data.
set it up for me today. I definitely, yeah. And by the way, if you don't think OpenClaw, I mean, here, maybe we'll close it. If you don't think OpenClaw is the most interesting, most transformational, radical shift that we will see in at least this to date in our lifetimes, then you're not watching what's going on there. Right, Jay? It
I
sounds like you've been
love
paying
it.
attention.
Yes,
It's
but the security aspect is scary.
Oh, horrific, scary, and it's terrible, 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 terrible at every level. Exactly. No, there's just nothing there. But you got to run on a separate Mac Mini. You got to go buy a Mac Mini and run it over there. Keep it away from your system because you'd just be so vulnerable. No, but you know what OpenClaw is doing? It's an agent, right? I mean, this is what we're doing, guys. Here's what I think is happening. Here's the MMA's position. Our job is no longer manage marketing campaigns as much as, or in tangential to, manage a whole series of AI agents. That is
Yep.
what's happening right now. You
Agentic
need to
AI.
learn to manage 5, 10, 20 agents. I don't, as you would manage employees.
Yeah.
And so I'm envisioning a whole different work world where I'm banked by a series of screens that have different agents, different processes, different parts of it that I'm telling to go do stuff. And if you not use Claude Cowork, was kind of kick that off. And then what OpenClaw is doing is a variation of that. I mean, and if you don't watch OpenClaw, I mean, it's literally making calls to people that it was never told to make calls to. Some guy set up a thing that said, hey, text my wife every morning and tell her I'm available, or tell her hello, or tell her good morning, whatever. OpenAI called her and had a conversation with her.
Oof.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
This is as scary as going onto Moltbook and
It's the
watching
closest we've
things.
seen to actual AGI, which is why Sam Altman stepped in OpenAI and just bought the thing here really fast. I don't know what that was. 10,
Yeah.
50 million, 100 million, I don't know what it is. So
Even from an entertainment landscape. I mean, creating movies.
Yep.
oh, the whole yeah. Hollywood's in a little bit of like dire
Yeah.
I don't know, debate. I don't know where they are, but angst for sure, for sure. Well, listen, you guys were great to do this. Frank, you're there somewhere. I'll let you turn it back to you. But Rebecca, Dave, Jay, thank you for helping the MMA. Thank you for helping here. I can't appreciate it. We'll see you in the board meeting tomorrow, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you
Greg.
all.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful.